This is Voice to Culture, a podcast for the modern day confused citizen. Hi, I'm your podcast host, Helen.
I'm Kelly. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Carolyn.
Welcome back to another bonus episode. Today, we have two special guests who are from the SF Bay Area. They are the founders of Genz, We Are the Future, an organization dedicated to uniting our generation so that we're ready to take on the challenges of the future, while also inspiring and educating our generation about the issues society is facing. With Generation Z being the most diverse generation to date, these two recognize that in today's polarized world, Gen Z knows unity is more important than ever. Please welcome Sofia and Claire. Yay! Hi guys.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. So let's start off with your organization. So when did you guys first come up with the idea to start Gen Z, We Are the Future? And what factors do you think helped it to grow so fast?
We started Gen Z, We Are the Future in July of 2020. And we started it because we saw so much unrest and injustice in the world. Because as you know, in July, there was so much unrest and injustice going on. And we knew we had to do something about it. So we actually started off by making Gen Z We Are the Future as a website for like resources and petitions and that type of stuff. And yeah, do you want to add anything, Sophia?
Yeah, so I think in terms of what really helped us grow was, I think our mission, because it really like resonated with a lot of people. We're working to unite, inspire, and educate Generation Z. And I think initially, especially when we were starting out and people didn't really know what we were doing, just having like a groundwork and like those three words, it really, I think, helped us gain more popularity and find team members who joined us. So I think having a strong mission really helped.
Yeah, and adding on to Helen's question, like you guys have done like several partnerships with other organizations. So we were wondering, how did you find the right collaborations to accept or ask for?
So usually lots of organizations email us, and we usually just start off by like researching what the company or organization stands for and like researching what their mission is and going on their website and stuff. And then we try to find like an intersection, and then we also like propose ideas about what the partnership could entail. And yeah.
Yeah, and I think another big thing is, so obviously like some organizations and companies reach out to us to partner, but like sometimes we see an organization and we'd love to collaborate with them. So I think in that situation, just like not being afraid to reach out and like explain, oh, like we're Gen Z, we're the future. We noticed that you're doing this, and I think we could maybe work on a collaboration together. So I think just going out there and asking like, would you be interested in doing something together has really helped us get some pretty cool partners as well.
Yeah, so I also noticed like on your LinkedIn page, Gen Z We're the Future, they have a listed of 50 to 200 members, and that's a really big organization to say the least. So what's it like coordinating events and social media posts and etc.? How do you stay organized?
So we have around 150 members, including our executive board. So I think that coordinating meetings is definitely difficult because we are a global organization, which means that there are several different people in different time zones across the world, etc. We have members from Indonesia, the UK, and a lot of other places. So we just try to make plan meetings based on a time that most people or most members are able to join in on. So I also think that having clear roles and responsibilities is definitely really important. Me and Sophia personally, we have very different roles since we're co-CEOs. Yeah, we do have different roles. Like I personally do the internal things, so like I manage the whole team and like internal communications and like meetings and like the Instagram posts and that type of stuff. And Sophia does like external outreach and like partnerships, legal stuff, finance. And I think this really helps us to stay organized.
Yeah, I think Claire covered pretty much everything, but like organization and just like being open to collaborating with different people and trying to like work around everyone's schedule. Because I mean, when you have like so many members and so many different time zones, not everything will always work out. So being flexible and open to compromise is really important as well.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I like how you guys only started at around like July 2020, and like after basically almost a year, you guys have grown such a large like global network, and you're like delegating different tasks to certain people and managing your time really efficient. And I like that you two, like even within yourselves, you guys have like this really like seemingly like close bond, like between Sophia and Claire. Like you guys like really seem to enjoy each other's company. So I thought that was really interesting. So in terms of your organization, um, I know how it focuses on like Generation Z and what the youth can do, but how would you say Generation Z has grown over the years in terms of some of the high points and the low points of what the organization has gone through?
Yeah, so I think that some high points definitely include our events. It is definitely stressful sometimes, like planning the events. Usually when we're like hosting them or co-hosting them, we just have like a small team who helps us plan it. And we are always open to team members who want to help us plan the event. And yeah, as I mentioned, like the team and our partners, it's definitely really cool to work with so many people, and we can get like their perspective of what they think the event should entail and that type of stuff.
Yeah, and I think in terms of, I guess, some low points, I mean, we haven't luckily had anything like super big happen to us in terms of like low things, but obviously, like when we first got started in July, we did struggle with growth and just getting the word out there. I remember we were stuck at like 37 followers for a month, and it was so annoying. But over time, we've really been able to kind of get over things. And obviously, like with anything you do, there will be some low points, but just like keep going and it will all end up great.
Yeah, and on the topic of like generations, could you describe your opinion on the disparity between different generations, like for example, boomers versus millennials versus Gen Z?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, as a Gen Z organization, we definitely like experience a generational divide in our audience and the work we do because, I mean, we're run by Gen Z and we make content for Gen Z. But I think our mission in the end is to work towards like a more just and united future. And obviously, that future has to include all generations. It can't just be Gen Z. So I think kind of trying to overcome the generational divide is really important, and just I guess accepting people as human beings regardless of their generation. Um, I think that's been really important for us. But obviously, like there have been some issues of like older people commenting on our posts and being like, "What are you doing?" And I mean, but it's like small stuff. And I think obviously, yes, there will always be a generational divide, but there's like nothing you can't I mean, you can't really do much about that, and you can just accept it and try to work towards unity and like collaborating with people regardless of their generation.
Yeah, I completely agree with what Sophia said. Adding on to what she mentioned, yeah, I think that since our organization does focus on Gen Z, we are like by Gen Z for Gen Z. But at the end, as Sophia said, we are just trying to make a more united future for our communities. And even if it's like not just Gen Z, we still want to like educate others and inspire everybody into like doing what they're passionate about. And I did want to add on that we do have a section on our website that our team members can use to like write articles about how they feel about generational divide. We have articles such as the battle between boomers and millennials and Generation Z on like TikTok and other kinds of stuff, which we have actually made a post on. So I think it's really cool to learn about what our team members feel like and their opinions on generational divide.
Yeah, I think it's time to get over basing someone's like your opinion of someone just based on like what generation they're born in. Like they can't control, like sorry I was born in this year, because people will be like, oh, like you're Gen Z, like oh okay, blah, blah, you're a baby. When a lot of Gen Z are adults now, and like the whole you're a millennial, avocado toast, and like it's dumb. Let's get over that.
Yeah, so finally, what are some of your takeaways for running this organization? And what advice would you give to someone that also wants to create an organization that's similar to yours?
Yeah, I personally think that running this organization has been one of the best things that has ever happened in my life. It was the best choice I could have ever made. And I remember in the beginning when I was just texting Sophia, like, hey, we should start an organization or something to help the world. And reaching out to Sophia was also like definitely one of my best choices in my life that I have ever made because working with Sophia has been amazing. And like co-founding this amazing organization has truly been one of the most rewarding experiences of my entire life. It has really widened my view on the world and like different perspectives in so many ways. And it just really makes me happy whenever I like work with the organization, work on the organization. People usually ask me like, what do you do when you're stressed with the organization? And a few answers that I usually give them are just along the lines of, oh, working on the organization is just my way of like relieving stress. Whenever I'm stressed with like schoolwork, I just work on the organization and it just makes me so happy, which really leads me to my next point, which I think that some advice that I would give to someone who wants to create an organization similar to ours is definitely to be passionate about creating an organization because I do think that being passionate about creating and running an organization is so important because you shouldn't just do it for college and stuff because when you're not passionate about it, you're not really going to want to do it, if you know what I mean. And like when you're passionate about it, you will do it so well and you will really like doing it, which is definitely one of the most important things to running a successful organization.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And like founding Gen Z for the future has definitely been like one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. And like the day that Claire reached out to me and was like, Sophia, let's start an organization. The world's a big dump hole, that has completely changed my life. So I think definitely like if you can start an organization, it will really like change the way that you think and see the world. So it's definitely been super rewarding. And in terms of like advice I'd give to others, I think just really pinpointing like what you're trying to accomplish and what the mission for your organization is really important because if you're like trying to do too many things that you're not really sure what you're doing, it can get really confusing and you might not be able to like really get an audience for your work. So definitely pinpoint like what are you trying to accomplish, but also like don't be afraid to switch your mission or like slightly alter the work you're doing if you think there's like a better way to accomplish everything. So I mean, try to have a focus, but don't be afraid to change the focus.
I just think that's so amazing, like the story of how you guys started the organization, because for Voice of Culture, for our organization, it kind of happened the same way. I had this idea for a podcast a while back, but I just wasn't sure like who exactly to reach out to. So I reached out to Michelle and Carolyn at the same time, but like in separate conversation. I was like, hey, would you be interested in doing this? They're like, sure. And then they invited Helen, and then the rest is history. I had no idea that like reaching out to someone, even if it was scary at first, it really in hindsight made the biggest difference because I feel like now like I can trust them so much more with doing things together and reaching out to people for interviews and like just like putting yourself out there in a space where it feels like so scary but like so worthwhile. And it kind of ties back to what you guys said about going through that initial stage of like not having that many followers and feeling like is this even worth it? But like once you get past it and you push through, you find that yes, this was worth it. And I'm so glad to be here right now because we're at that stage where we're about to wrap up our first season and we're not really sure like what to do from here because we're going to be going off to college soon and we're like all like confused, like it's just a tumultuous time, but we know for sure that one thing that isn't going to change is how we stick together through Voice to Culture and propelling this organization forward. So I just think like you guys with Gen Z, we're the future. It's just so amazing. I know I say this all the time, but you guys are doing great. Keep at it.
Thank you so much. And I think Voice of Culture is such a cool podcast. And like Gen Z We're the Future is a huge fan of it. And I personally listen to your episodes and it's all like amazing. So great work.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are doing amazing. I am so happy to like hear you guys, and I am so happy to be here. Honestly, it's been so wonderful talking to you guys and sharing our experience. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for coming.
All right, that wraps up our interview with Sofia and Claire. Thank you so much again for sharing your incredible story and insights with us.
I really enjoyed having you as guests. We'll link all our socials and other works in the description box below.
If you're interested in what we do and want to better understand what we're about, please check out all of our socials. All that's our voice to culture. If you like this episode, please give us a review or like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to be notified every time we upload a video.
We'll be back soon with another episode. Be safe and healthy, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.